this is Phil. Thank you for stopping by and viewing this video. Today I want to share 5 hiking mantras that I've developed over 30 years of hiking. They're pretty simple, but they're just some simple rules that I share with folks on my hiking trips. Let's get started. Number one is there's no such thing as a small accident in the wilderness. Should be self-explanatory, but a lot of times people are goofing around on the trail, running, jumping, not paying attention to where they're going, playing with fires. The issue is that there's no quick rescue when you're in the wilderness. Stay safe at all times.
Number 2.
What goes down must go up. Okay, this is a little frivolous. When you're hiking in the mountains, there's always going to be another up. I know is that really necessary, but I like it anyway.
Number 3.
Always take care of a hot spot. You would not believe the number of times where I've told people to stop if you feel a hot spot and take care of your feet, and they don't do it. There is nothing that will stop a hike and cause you more suffering than not attending to a hot spot, which then develops into a blister. This will ruin the trip for not only you, but for the whole group. Make sure you carry something in your own personal first aid kit that deals specifically with blisters. Think about hot spots before you go and have a plan for either bandaging it, taping it, dealing with a blister. Do this before you go.
Number 4.
If you find a good camping spot, put your packs down and just search a little farther down the trail. Oh my gosh, it seems like every time I go hiking, I set up a good camp, what I think is a good campsite, but the next morning we'll get up and pack up, start walking, and there's a better campsite. So this little hint is when you find what you think is a fantastic campsite, just take a moment and look on down the trail. Perhaps there might be something better.
Number 5.
If you send somebody out to do a recon for a better campsite, for the love of Pete, do not start setting up camp while they're out. Not only is this rude, it could ruin the entire trip by pissing off whoever did the recon. That person may have found the perfect site, leveler, more firewood, by a beautiful lake, and they've taken the time and energy to go look for another site. And if they come back and you're already set up after they've gone and done this recon, that is just poor all the way around.
Bonus number 6.
You would think I wouldn't have to say this, that it would be clear, but if you're carrying a personal locator beacon, for the love of God, tell everybody else in the group that you're carrying it and show them how to work it. Because you may be the one that gets knocked unconscious and need the extraction. But if nobody knows that you're carrying a locator beacon, it's going to be worthless to you. So please, if you are carrying a personal locator beacon, like an InReach or a Rescue Link, whatever it is, make sure you tell everybody, preferably in your communication prior to the trip or at the trailhead. This could save your whole group from catastrophe. Okay, thanks for watching my 5+1 bonus mantra tips. I think they're pretty common sense, but people don't adhere to it, especially running around acting like fools in the wilderness, not being aware of their surroundings, looking at bear scat, how fresh the bear scat is, running up and down the trail, jumping from rock to rock. not taking care of hot spots, which can be disastrous to you and your trip and the rest of the group. And also, please, for safety's sake, tell everyone that you are carrying a personal locator beacon, and please show them how to use it. Wait a minute. Before you go, I thought of another one. So bonus number 7.
Bonus number 7.
First aid kits. Before you leave, you might want to mention to everybody in the group to carry a first aid kit. The first aid kit you carry is for yourself. When somebody gets injured, or if hopefully no one ever gets injured, usually hot spots are the most common incident that'll happen that requires a first aid kit. But your first aid kit is for you. Your first instinct will be to open up your pack and get out your first aid kit and tape somebody else's foot. Don't do that if you can. Use their first aid kit. If they didn't bring one, you still need to ask them, do you have a first aid kit for yourself? Because you need to hammer home that they should have brought a first aid kit, especially something to tape up their own feet. For your first aid kit that you carry is for you. Everybody should carry a first aid kit for themselves. You don't want to be the community first aid provider. You may not have the material left if you have used it on somebody else and now you need it. I guess it's kind of like toilet paper. You wouldn't be loaning your toilet paper out to somebody who didn't bring any. Well, if they didn't bring any, you may be forced to share it, but you get the idea. What you bring is for yourself, and hopefully the other members of the group out in the wilderness, a couple of days from the trailhead, are bringing their own supplies, including their own first aid kit, and of course, toilet paper. One last thing. On almost every one of my trips, I wind up explaining how I handle my personal electronic nav aids, how I create my maps, how I upload them to Gaia, and how I print out the maps using advice that I received from some very smart folks. So stay tuned for that video. Hopefully I'll get that one up very shortly. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the trail.